Gwen, thanks for agreeing to talk to me and Colette. And we're speaking to you on behalf of the 4Cs Committee on the Status of Women in the Profession. And we're doing a project called Women's Lives in the Profession, where we're interviewing a variety of women across academia that are in rhetoric and composition and asking them questions about their career, how they got started, what some of the significant highlights are of their careers, also some of the challenges and problems of being a woman faculty member in rhetoric and comp, and just trying to find out more about what it means to be in this field day to day.
Well, as a graduate student myself, I'm interested to hear more how your experience during that time was. Specifically, I'm wondering what kind of goals did you have for your career and your life when you were in graduate school, and how have these changed as you've dealt with the reality of the profession?
I think the main thing was I didn't go to grad school initially understanding what it meant to be an academic. It was more of, as I said, I was a creative writer in undergrad, and I thought I wanted to write, novels, and I needed a job. So I had done some teaching, substitute teaching while I was in undergrad, and realized that I probably wasn't the person to teach little kids or high school students. So I had this kind of, I'll just go teach college. What do I have to do to teach college? And so that's why I went for the master's and the PhD, thinking, I'll just get, these credentials and teach college. And not knowing that it was, I was becoming an academic, and it wasn't just, I'm going to teach college and write these novels. I didn't really have any goals for a career as an academic when I initially entered graduate school. But as I finished my PhD, working on a dissertation, working with people like Susan and Schell, kind of seeing, okay, this isn't just, I'm going to go teach college, but I need to, and really becoming more and more interested in research and the research I was doing. And so it was more of a slow kind of building awareness about the field and what I wanted to do. And even I think when I went on the job market the first time, coming right out of grad school, it wasn't a sense of, I'm going to be this big researcher or scholar. It was like, I'm going to get a job. I need a job. It wasn't, I never had any kind of big plans to, it was kind of just slowly becoming kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned Susan and Schell a couple times now. Did you have any other significant mentors or influences, or how did these two women in particular influence you in your career?
I think definitely I had other mentors in other places. I think Susan Jarrett is really interesting because, like I said, I didn't really know a lot about the field of composition and rhetoric when I was working on my master's, but I had read this essay of hers, The Case for Conflict, in that class and just loved it. I had no idea she was at Miami University when I applied. Like, that's how clueless I was. It was just like, let me apply to some PhD programs. This one is offering me a TA-ship. I guess I'll go here, And got there, and it was like this woman who wrote this essay that really made me decide to go for the PhD. So I don't know, I don't believe in like woo-woo destiny type stuff, but it did feel like, I must be like this, I'm here for a reason, People like Jacqueline Jones-Royster and Geneva Smitherman, as I started attending 4Cs, really mentored me and helped me to kind of become the scholar I am today. I remember attending my first 4Cs when Jackie Royster gave her cheers address. I was at that point that most grad students feel where, it was my first year and I was ready to quit. That like, I hate it here, this is just not for me, I need to just leave. And I heard her cheers address and really felt like, okay, maybe there is a place in this field for me. So kind of the unofficial mentoring, just based on who they were as Black women in the profession, and the kind of, once I met them, taking me under their wings kind of thing. So
look back and you think about, okay, how you spent your time, what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
You said earlier you didn't have regrets with respect to decisions you were making, but is there any part of your career that you look back and you think, I really wish I hadn't done that, or I wish I'd spent my time differently, or there was just anything about the trajectory and the choices?
Mm-hmm. I think sometimes that I wish that the second academic book was out there already, or that I had finished it. But then I feel like I want it to be really good. Like, you go through that whole I don't want the second one to be like the sophomore jinx. So
right.
It's check it while I reckon was good, but this crap, she needs to not write another book. So you have that stress of wanting to put something out there that's gonna be better than what you put out the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I have regrets that it's not out there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing, I should have not wrote those romance novels. I should have just worked on getting that out quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only one regret. Yeah, I think wanting that out there already.
Do you think that, this isn't actually a question I wanted to ask, or that Colette and I planned on, but do you think any of that is connected to some of the challenges that women have as associate professors? There's a whole project that Cheryl Geisler and others have been doing on mentoring associate professors who want to go on and be promoted.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like there's, things that are happening in your career that lead to that book not getting done? The other things you're doing, the administrative responsibilities, and leadership. So how does that all kind of sort out to where you're looking at that book and saying, I wish it was done, but there's all these other things?
Yeah, I think that's a part of it. With women in particular, but I think with the associate professor, because once you get promoted to associate, it's just okay, now you got to do all this other stuff, and it's but wait,
what about me? What about
my book? What about my research? It's no, you got to be on this committee and that committee and this and that, and people expect you to do more work because you have tenure in your associate. So, and you should, because the assistant,
yeah, right.
The cycle keeps going, and you want to take on that work so that the assistant professors can have the space and time they need to get their work done. But
if you were a male associate professor, again, I'm off script here.
Uh-huh.
If you're a male associate professor, do you think you'd be facing these dilemmas?
Not in the same way, I think. No, because there's other stuff even though I don't have kids yet, being the wife at home, there's other home stuff you have to do, I think, as a woman that I think men don't really have to worry about as much. So, and if they're single men, then they really don't have to worry about, So yeah, I think you're also more inclined to feel like you can be selfish. When stuff needs to get done, you feel well, I gotta do it, gotta take my turn. Whereas a guy would be not yet, not ready, and have no qualms about saying it. I think anyway. It's hard for us to say no.
Do you have any plans or goals that you've put on hold in order to pursue your career, and have you realized any of those since then?
Not really. The only one that I would say is kids, probably. Because I was okay, wait till I get a job, finish grad school. Okay, wait till I get tenure. And now it's okay, you're 38, 39. It's probably not going to happen. So, got to talk the hubby into adopting or something, because I don't think I have to have them, but he disagrees right now. I want to adopt. But that would probably be the main thing, having kids of my own, and when to have them. I gotta know if to have them in grad school, have them wait until you get tenured in job security, or when's the right time.
Well, Eileen's told us in seminar that we have to go out and have babies immediately.
I said sooner the better because, the tenure clock and the biological clock are in conflict so often.
Yeah. And I think, it's hard to know. Like, I always thought the people who had them in grad school were really smarter because they, and it also made people, like, I noticed the people who had kids finished, like, Malia was out of there quick, because she had to worry about, moving to have Audrey where she's not starting, a different school, all that stuff you have to, that motivates you, I think. Like, knowing you have mouths to feed is good motivation for getting done and finishing. So, I don't know. I'm not telling all of y'all to go out and have babies, but...
So to our last question, if you're going to give one piece of advice to a woman about to begin a career in rhetoric and comp, what would it be?
That would be it, I think. Work through that issue with no. Learning how to say it. Not being scared of hearing it. Like, no is, not gonna, don't let it stop you. And definitely, don't let it stop you in either case. Don't let it stop you from sending stuff out, and don't let it stop you from doing what you need to do because you can't tell people no,